All right, welcome back. It is time for another year at Cardinals Plus. I'm Corey Miller. That's Ahmad Hicks.
Yep.
We're going to have some more fun this year. Ahmad, I'm just so happy baseball's back.
Turning to normal, the Clydesdales will be
a lot less editing, too, so I'm looking forward to that.
So I'm sure he's happy. Clydesdales are back. The Red Jackets will be back in a couple of days. Exciting time to be a Cardinals fan.
And a lot to talk about, too.
A lot to talk about.
Let's get right into it with Leading Off. All right, of course we got to start with the biggest news that we're going to be talking about on Thursday.
Talking about
the big man is back.
Five.
Number five is back.
Okay.
Five. Oh, there's no five.
There's
there.
no five.
Five on your shirt. Five on your shirt. Number five is back in town. Albert Pujols is a Cardinal once again for what he says will be his last year in 2022. I mean, obviously everybody wanted the Cardinals to make some more big moves and whatnot and make the team better. But we're going to get this, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
And let's think about it. You guys, I mean, they weren't going to get the guy that we all wanted, a Trevor Story or someone like that with significant pop in their bat. So Albert Pujols, I'm not saying he's the answer for the solution for the Cardinals' offensive woes, but he certainly doesn't help, and they got him on a good price.
He doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt. Excuse me.
I got you. $2.5 million, that's nothing for these guys. Hey, listen, they're going to make $2.5 million in jersey sales.
And
they already released the Pujols pack. So from a PR standpoint,
they probably already made that money.
As Whitey Herzog told Frank Cusimano, our sports director, from a PR standpoint, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened because Albert's going to make money, and you're already marketing this as Wainwright and Molina's possible last ride. Now you get all three of them. I mean, it's just too perfect.
Waino's like, pump the brakes, man. I didn't say that. He's like, let me pitch this year, and then we'll see.
We're going to get to that in a second. You know? Albert's at DH. Manager Oliver Marmol said he's going to start at DH on opening day. Where would you hit him in the order? Because that's going to be a point. I think this first game, you know what, it's opening day. Let's have some nostalgia. We're going to have fun on opening day. But then where he is used is going to be a huge point of emphasis.
Middle of the order guy. He has to be a middle of the order guy. I feel like 5-6 is where you want to put Albert this season because obviously you want Tyler O'Neill, Paul Goldschmidt, and Nolan Arenado. You want all those guys getting a AB, you know, in the very first inning. But you want somebody who can bring them in. And last year during that spot, we had a Dylan Carlson, and we had a Yadier Molina. Not guys you really want cleaning up the base pads, you know, at 5 and 6. So Albert Pujols is a much better option, I think, than a Harrison Bader, no offense, or, you know, some of the other players on the roster.
So if you see me taking the wrong camera here, it's because I'm still working with this. I'm pretty sure I just took myself
Hey, we're getting it together. It's the first episode.
Talking. I was not doing ventriloquism. We'll get it down. I don't know. I think if the team's going well, you don't want Albert hitting that high.
5?
I don't know. That's pretty high. So I think that's what he's going to hit on Thursday.
Yeah, it is.
Here's the thing. If Paul DeJong decides he wants to hit this year, that changes the entire lineup, and Paul DeJong hits 5th, and your entire team is different.
That's a big if.
That is a big if. I don't know if Albert Pujols hitting 5th in a team that's supposed to be making noise in the playoffs, that's probably not what you want. But I think that's what we're going to see on Thursday.
They did that last year with no Pujols and no DH. I mean, it's better than a pitcher hitting.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, so we talked about where he'll hit. One thing that's not in question is how loud it's going to be for him there on Thursday. What do you think? We usually hear Yadi, Waino get the loud, and Willie McGee usually gets a pretty loud cheer. We're going to hear something totally different on Thursday, I think.
Around Busch Stadium when he hops on the back of that pickup truck and takes his lap around the warning track. Oh, my God. That's going to be so loud. I remember when he was in town playing with the Dodgers last. And that was just, I mean, that applause that he had was unreal. So, you know, they're going to give him a big ovation, probably his lap and his first AB, probably every time he steps up to the plate. I'm going over 1 minute for his ovation when he steps up to the plate the first time.
Time kind of heals all wounds because there's a lot of people who never wanted to see him here again.
Can we address the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of people that wanted Albert Pujols back in St. Louis for that monstrous contract that he signed, but $300+ million for how many years was it? 10+ years?
240 for 10.
240 for 10.
Yeah.
All right, so think about all the players that we brought in. Think about the things that we've done without Albert Pujols. Now, granted, do I think we get a World Series if he was on our team one of those 2 times? Possibly. But Cardinals saved a lot of money. They're still competitive, and they're still a household name amongst every baseball fan. So they did it the right way, I guess.
That's the main thing why I don't understand why people are that still mad at him.
Right.
It worked out. Like, it was good for the Cardinals.
Exactly.
You probably don't have Paul Goldschmidt.
Nope.
You weren't able to sign Wainwright to that extension. Alan Craig, although it might not have worked out, when he was productive, they signed him with that money. They got Stephen Piscotty in the compensatory draft pick. So not signing Albert Pujols was one of the best things the Cardinals have done in the last 20 years.
Because think about if they would have signed him, how much money would have been tied up. And we're talking about a guy who's, approaching 40, starting at first base still this year. There's no Goldschmidt, like you said. So, hey, let's get over it. He's back. Let's be happy. Let's celebrate.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. So, how do we think he'll get used over the year? Whitey Herzog, again, had an interesting point. He wouldn't use him as a DH. He used him as a pinch hitter late in games against those lefties, kind of like he was used by the Dodgers, which was pretty successful. He's going to get his at-bats at DH, but how do you think you would use him?
I think that's the smartest way to use him, if we're being honest. You want this guy to destroy left-handed pitching, which he has done throughout his entire career. But I think you also want him to be that mentor for the young players. I don't think it's as important for the ABs this season as it is important to be in that clubhouse and be in that dugout with the younger guys, because the Cardinals have a young nucleus together in Harrison Bader, Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson, guys that can benefit from that wisdom for years to come. So just a big addition.
Hey, he's Nolan Arenado's favorite player, as he said. So I think there's going to be a lot of Albert Pujols' wisdom rubbing off on guys.
People are going to learn a lot this year.
From a statistical standpoint, though, there is one big question. Does he get to 21 home runs and get to 700? It's going to be tough because they brought in Corey Dickerson. Albert's just not going to play against righties very often. I don't believe that, unless somehow he gets a couple of games and just goes crazy and they feel like they got to put him in there. But 21 home runs this season is going to be really tough.
That's a lot.
I'm going to go on record. I mean, obviously I want him to see. I at least want it to be close, because you know what the crowds are going to be like if he's close to that. Every game, people showing up to see if he gets just closer and closer, a home run chase. That'd be a lot of fun. But I'm going to go on record.
DeWitt would like that.
I don't think he's going to get it. That's a lot to ask.
I don't think he's going to get it, because that's still a lot to ask for a player who plays 120 games in a season, and we don't see Albert getting 4 at-bats for 120 times. So we're talking about a guy who's going to get maybe 3 at-bats a game when he plays in. Out of 162, he's maybe playing in 90. So we're looking at some games where he's just getting 1 AB. 21's that's reaching.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I hope.
But I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. That's the machine.
If he gets close, if he's like 5, really, you think so?
He said he's not a stat chaser, but come on, if he's 3 away, you think he's not coming back? Stop it.
I probably would. Well, if I was him, I would make sure I at least pass A-Rod, which I think he needs like 12. I could be wrong on that. I would at least pass A-Rod.
If he gets to 10 or 12 before the All-Star break, he's going to do it. But I don't see him doing that.
Speaking of the All-Star break, I think he is going to be an All-Star this year. It's a fan vote, and it's his last year.
Tour.
He's getting in there. Yeah. I think that'll be, and he gets a $100,000 bonus if he is an All-Star this year. So that's fun.
I'm sure that's like $100 for him. Hey.
Let's move on. Talk about 2 more old guys. Yadi and Waino back at it. They're going to be on the hill and behind the plate for another opening day at Busch Stadium. Just 20 more starts to break the all-time battery record. Yadi has said this is his last year. We've seen him fib a little bit about that before.
He's already signed up to be a manager.
Yeah, in the Venezuelan Winter League.
Yeah.
He's not. That doesn't totally rule him out to come back, but I hope everybody treats this as a final farewell, because I think we are at the end of the road and we should really appreciate what we've seen over the years.
I think so too, and I think you can kind of say the writing's on the wall, because Yadi just even came out and admitted that he's not going to be playing 162 games this year.
Yeah.
He's not going to be talking about playing 7 days straight and no breaks.
That surprised me a little bit.
They said that Andrew Kisner will get his shot, so it is Yadi's farewell tour. And if we're being real, I mean, how long can those knees hold up, man? It's been a long time coming, you know?
Never doubt him. Yeah. I don't know how he's done it. I mean, he has gone through a lot of crap back there, and he's still looking good. Because a lot of guys like Joe Mauer and even Buster Posey, who already retired, they have to shift to a different position because they can't catch when they get older. And Yadi's like, no problem, man.
Says a lot about the person that he is and the athlete that he is. But I think it's special for him. I think it's special for Waino that we get to witness this final season with them 2 together. We should just take in this moment, because we won't see anything like this for a while.
Waino's their ace, though, and if he's good, he's going to come back.
Isn't it crazy that a 40-year-old is your team's ace? No offense to you, Waino. I know you're still thriving.
Oh, he's good. It's probably a good thing. If he sees this, he's going to like it, because he takes all of that, everything everybody says, and uses it out there. He says that all the time.
Hey, you still look 30 if you see this.
20 more starts to break the battery record.
They'll do that.
They'll do that. I was a little worried when we might not have a full season, that we might start losing their starts. But thankfully, things got things got settled, and I think it's going to be no problem. That's a huge record to have, too, because like Adam Wainwright said himself, that's probably never going to be broken because you don't see two guys together this long.
Especially with the way players want to be paid nowadays.
Yeah.
They're hopping. Shout out to them. They're going to get it. Bueno will make 20 starts in his sleep.
Yeah. And Yadi's going to catch. I don't think we're going to see Andrew Kisner catch any Yadi starts this year.
Probably not. Maybe one time.
All right, let's get a little less rosy here and talk about the pitching concerns because there are pitching concerns.
Are we starting already?
I'm very concerned.
Starting already? Yeah.
I'm very concerned. Flaherty on the 10-day IL. I guess that is good news because it could have been a lot worse.
He's going to the 15-day.
15-day.
He's going to that, yeah.
It could have been a lot worse, though. So it seems like at least some encouraging news there, although we're not going to see him for a little while, that's for sure. Alex Reyes on the 60-day, which is just a total bummer for him, for sure. Yeah. So you're counting on Adam Wainwright, Miles Mikolas, Steven Matz, Dakota Hudson, Drew Verhagen, Aaron Brooks, Jake Woodford, and Johan Oviedo pretty much to get you through the year.
So when are we starting the trade talks?
Oh, boy. They should have already happened.
I'm not going to be one of those guys who's doubting what the Cardinals have on their roster, but we saw last year that wasn't enough. And the team basically doubled down and said, we're going to bank on these guys proving themselves in the offseason, getting better, and taking that leap in the next year. We all want to see that as fans and as media, but I don't think that's the case with these Cardinals pitchers. Verhagen, okay, cool, but he hasn't pitched in the majors in a couple of years. Oviedo couldn't get a win the past couple of years. Now, that wasn't on him, but, I mean, that's still a big gap that he has to close. So, I mean, they should have addressed this problem in the offseason, just like a bat. I still think they should have brought in a bigger bat. So I think the Cardinals will get by. They'll be a team that's competitive at the end of the year. They'll be in the playoff race. And then we'll be talking about what if they would have done this, I feel like.
If they're really in the hunt or leading, they have to make some trades at the deadline because – it would not be right to not go all in this year.
I mean, think about the age of your starting rotation. I know we talked a lot about that last year, but it didn't get necessarily younger this year. So what are we doing to improve?
Well,
because
it's not just that. Adam Wainwright has obviously looked great. He's 40, and he's had injury history. Hopefully nothing happens. Miles Mikolas has had recent injury history, and you don't know quite what to expect there. Dakota Hudson has had recent injury history. Steven Matz, this is his first year with the car. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of hopes and a lot of praying going on that things work out.
If like 10, 15 years ago when the Cardinals believed in their farm system, if it can work out like that 10 to 15 years ago, then John Mozeliak is a genius and everybody is happy come October, but I don't think that's the case. I think we all know in Cardinal Nation a move needs to be done for a bigger bat and a starting arm.
I do like Oviedo still. He's got really good stuff, some bad luck last year. I think if he's called upon this year, he will definitely be better.
He's getting a win.
I don't know how much.
He's getting a win.
I don't know how much better, but he'll be better. I'm just upset. The Oakland A's are just having a total fire sale.
Right.
And they still have one guy left, but he's going to cost a lot. They gave up Sean Manaea, who's a great lefty, to the Padres for their 12th and 25th best prospect. Man, I think the Cardinals have a better farm system than the A's. They probably could have slid those back like 12th and 27th. That was definitely worth it. The Cardinals should have gone out and got him, would have bolstered their staff immediately and given them a guy you can at least feel somewhat good about instead of question marks.
Cardinals are like me. They're cheap. You know they're not spending any money. Come on now.
That's a good one.
I'm just saying.
All right, last thing in our leading off segment, kind of some news of the week leading up to opening day. We talked about this a little bit. What would your opening day lineup look like? And then would that be the lineup you stick with until some changes might need to be? I'll go first. I know what mine would be.
Okay.
The Cardinals have kind of been trotting this out. Dylan Carlson is going to be my leadoff guy, which is kind of interesting, maybe, because Tommy Edman was in that position last year. And everybody loves Tommy Edman, but he does not get on base enough, like not even close.
And he struggled this spring.
Yeah, and he did struggle a lot this spring. So Dylan Carlson, I want as many bats as I can get for him because I think it's going to be a breakout year, switch hitter, top of the lineup. Then you got Goldie second, I think, is a good spot for him. The Cardinals like him there. Their thinking is putting him second instead of third or fourth gets him so many more at-bats per year. Goldie second, O'Neill third, Arenado fourth. I want Paul DeJong to hit, and then I'm putting him in the fifth slot.
Okay.
For opening day, I will bet. I'd bet Albert Pujols fifth.
Absolutely.
But I need Paul DeJong to get going, and he needs to hit fifth going forward. Sixth spot, that's the DH spot, whether it's Pujols or Dickerson. Depending on the matchup. And I think the Corey Dickerson signing is a little underrated. Obviously, there were better DHs out there, but he's been a good player. What's next? Seventh 7th, I got Yachty. I think that's a decent spot for him.
It is.
And then I kind of view 8 and 9 as kind of flipping the lineup a little bit. Bader and Edman I have as my 8 and 9, and you can flip-flop them if you want. But I think those two guys down there, less pressure, maybe see some more fastballs. And then if they do decide to get on base and maybe wreak some havoc on the base paths, they got Carlson and Goldschmidt coming up right behind them.
For sure.
So that's what my lineup would look like.
It's pretty similar what I would try out there for my team. Obviously, I think I'm going to start out with speed, though. Tommy Edman. You say he doesn't get on base enough, but I think when he does get on base, he's a weapon with his speed. So I would love to see him. And then it doesn't matter who's at 2 or 3. I mean, Arenado, Goldschmidt, those guys are going to hit 30 home runs, whatever way you swing it. So I would love either one of them to 2 or the 3 spot. Now, when you get to 4, I think that's when we're talking about O'Neill. Like a guy that's going to clear those bases, bring him in. He also has speed. And then Pujols until he proves that he can't handle that spot at 5, because I want a guy like that with a lot of experience.
Not swimming in the nostalgia right here.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now. So I want Pujols at 5, and then I think after that, DeYoung. Hopefully, if he gets on a tear, maybe you can slide him up to 5. And then I think Molina, Bader, I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the lineup. Yeah, especially if Bader's swinging the bat like he did towards the end of last year. That's just a big plus for the Cardinals.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, now we're at a red hot seat. Ahmad and I go head-to-head a little bit.
Usually my seat's not red right now. Okay.
We usually agree on most things, so we got to change some stuff every now and then. We do have differing opinions on this.
We do.
Our question is, who is the Cardinals MVP in 2022?
Am I starting?
You can go first.
Nolan Arenado. I mean, do I have to explain? Do I have to elaborate on that? 34 home runs last year, 100-plus RBIs, and this is a guy who said he wanted to play better than that. And he attacked his offseason. He spoke to us down in Jupiter, and he basically said he just went at it in the cages, trying to perfect every little detail of his swing, trying to fix his hands, even went to a batting cage, not a batting cage, a bat creator. I'm not exactly sure the details on that, but he tried to get the science behind his swing and, see if he needs to adjust the speed or the weight of his bat, So this is a guy who's hungry. He's locked in, and when you have that hunger and that thirst to get better like he does each and every year, I don't know how you pick anybody else on that team to top him.
It's compelling. It's a good argument.
Maybe I should have did a little bit more homework so I didn't stutter as much, but hey.
Listen, I would not be surprised at all if Nolan Arenado is the team's MVP, and he could be in the running for the league MVP. But my guy's Paul Goldschmidt. Okay. Because Paul Goldschmidt is just on a mission, I feel.
He is right
now. Now, spring training, you take everything with a grain of salt, but the dude hit 500.
I know.
In spring training, he hit 500.
I know.
Half of the times he went up to the plate, he got a hit.
Jeez.
And if you watched him at the end of last year, he was probably their best hitter as well. He was on an absolute tear. You hit him second in this lineup. You've got guys protecting him behind him like O'Neill and Arenado. They're going to have to pitch to him. So he's going to be seeing some good pitches. I really think Paul Goldschmidt is going to have an insane year. He is, I don't want to totally drag this because I haven't researched it enough, but from my recollection, he does have some slower starts and then gets hot. So just stay with it if it doesn't start as well, because it's going to end well, because Paul Goldschmidt, I feel like, is going to have an enormous season.
I can't go against you with that. Can I name a dark horse?
Yeah.
Can you look up some numbers for me? Tyler O'Neill.
Well, that's not a dark horse.
But on a team with Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, yes, it is. Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina. You're not expecting him to be the MVP.
Horse.
But this guy, if he can hit 30-plus home runs, drive in 100 RBIs, and cut down on his strikeout rate,
there you go. You just said it right there.
He is going to be so good for this Cardinals offense if he can just take some more walks, find his pitch, and hit it out the park. Because when this guy connects with the barrel of the bat and that baseball,
he struck out 168 times last year.
Too many times.
That's a lot.
Too many times.
I'm going back to Whitey Herzog again. That's what he told Frank. If this guy can just cut down on strikeouts just a little bit, I mean, he's a superstar.
And he will be the face of the Cardinals.
And he's the fastest player on the team.
And he just won a Gold Glove.
And he just won a Gold Glove.
I mean, so if he can hit 30-plus home runs, drive in 100 RBIs, and have another Gold Glove type season, why is he not the MVP?
We're getting a little off track here, but I think Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Arenado could be
the 3 best players.
Well, it could be one of the best triple threats in the league this year. I think it could be.
Do you think the Cardinals get more than 5 Gold Gloves this year?
Yes. Yeah.
He said it. What's today's date? April 5th? Okay.
Well, Goldschmidt should have won even though Arenado won, I think Goldschmidt should have won the Platinum Glove last year. Goldschmidt, Arenado, Bader, O'Neill, easy. And then you need one more.
Edmund?
Ooh. I don't know. I was kind of surprised Tommy Edman won. He was deserving, but I was kind of surprised he won.
Beat out Cole.
Yeah, hey, Yachty's last year. You might get some.
He may not play enough.
You might get. Oh yeah, he will. You might get some sentimental Yachty Gold Glove votes. I wouldn't be too surprised on that.
I would vote for him if I had a vote.
So would I.
I'd be biased.
All right, it's time for our Down on the Farm segment, and we're not going to be telling you about two guys you haven't heard about. You've heard about these two guys, but Ahmad got to sit down with them at spring training, and I think you're going to still want to get to know them a little bit better. We got some great stuff.
Special players, and they both talked about how they just want to win and be a part of the Cardinals culture. Their names, Jordan Walker, Matthew Liberatore, no surprise here to anybody. Both of them had a lot to say when it came to winning a World Series. They said the moment that they walked into the clubhouse, that was the expectations that the Cardinals set, and that was what they understood as soon as they walked onto that field to start training. Take a look at what they had to say.
A lot of expectations surrounding you. How do you manage them to just be 19 years old?
You know, I try not to think about it, you know. I just do what I can control, pretty much. And I feel like, you know, I know it's said a lot, but I really take it to heart because if I focus on what I feel like I need to focus on, things will work out.
You were really big, I would say, acquisition for St. Louis, and they have high expectations for you. How do you manage those and just stay humble and even keel?
I kind of been saying this a lot lately, but the saying of being where your feet are and being present in the moment. You know, if I spend the whole time thinking about the expectations that I have to live up to, that takes away from my ability to actually live up to those expectations. So for me, it's looking in the mirror every day and trying to make sure that I'm a better version of myself when I go to bed than I was when I woke up. And if I can do that, you know, the only expectations I really have to live up to are my own. So at the end of the day, if I can put my head on the pillow and feel like I accomplished something that I set out to do that day, I'm happy with it.
How is it being at camp, surrounding yourself with guys like Nolan Arenado, Yadier Molina, Adam Wainwright, all those type of guys?
It's great. I mean, I'm learning a lot just from watching them. Even if I don't have talks to them, just the way they go about their actions, you know. They joke around with their teammates, obviously, but once they get in the cage or on the field, it's like a switch. Like, they switch it up and they're locked in, ready to play the game, ready to get their work in. So it's really cool to see how they go about it and to see what it takes to get myself to the big leagues.
How does being around a guy like Adam Wainwright make you a better pitcher?
The experience, the wisdom. You know, Ollie was talking to us in the clubhouse the other day, and he said there's two things you can learn from: experience and wisdom. And if you're only learning from experience, you're not doing it right, because there's guys who have had the experiences and are willing to share them with you before you have to go out and have those own experiences yourself. And so I think to be able to kind of shadow a guy like Wayno or a guy like Jack and see how they go about their business, and not even the conversations, the way they carry themselves, the way they talk, the words that they use when they speak. There's just a lot of things that you can pick up and implement into your own game, and I think that's been an invaluable part of my development since I've come here.
What do you hope to take away from just your career as a Cardinal? Hopefully it's a long, extended career, but what do you hope the lasting impact that you hope to leave? What is that?
My lasting, well, I've never been asked that question before. I want to be known as a solid baseball player, a player who represents the game of baseball. I want it to be, you know, fun, but also showing that you're devoted to it, showing that it's not just fun. You have to really work at it if you want to get to the big leagues. Because a lot of people out there think, you know, you're drafted, you're just going to be immediately in the big leagues. Like sometimes, like in the NFL, sometimes you just go straight to the NFL. That's just not how it works. There's a lot of people you have to compete against to get to where you're at. And so I want it to be fun, but I also want to show that devotion to the game. And you got to love the game to really have success in it.
What does it mean to be a part of that young core, Nolan Gorman, Jordan Walker, you, Juan, that's going to be the face of St. Louis in years to come?
I think it's exciting. You know, you get in the clubhouse day one of spring training and they start talking about World Series and they start talking about how it starts now, and, you know, I get the chills about that because that's what I play this game for. I love to win. I love to compete. I love the mental battle that goes on between the pitcher and the hitter. And, you know, I long to play for the team instead of myself. So, you know, being able to be a part of such a young, exciting, up-and-coming group that has a lot of talent and a lot of potential makes me really excited because I feel like we have a good opportunity to accomplish those things.
A lot of young black kids are probably going to be looking up to you. What does that mean to you in a game that doesn't have a lot of African-American players for you possibly to be the face one day?
It means a lot, honestly. I want to represent, I want this game to have a lot more black players, and I want to inspire black kids to come play the game. I want them to show that it's fun and you got to work hard at it and things like that. So I want to be that representation. So that's really also what I'm looking forward to and working for in this organization as well.
The last question I have for you. For St. Louis fans, For those who don't know about you, what type of player are you? What type of person are you? What can they expect for years to come?
I'm going to take the mound and compete. It doesn't matter if you cut off my left arm or tie it behind my back and I got to go out with my right arm. I'm going to find a way to win and get the job done. And, you know, like I said before, I love playing this game because I love winning and I love competing. So at the end of the day, if I can go out and give my team the best opportunity to win possible, I'll be happy with the job I did.
All right, that's going to do it for this first episode of Cardinals Plus. But we're going to leave you with something. We got some bold predictions to throw out there. Just in case they're right, we'll come back here, we'll clip this, we'll put it on Twitter and see how smart we are. And if we're not, then it never happened.
Right.
So here's Ahmad, go first.
The Cardinals should win 100-plus games this year with ease. My bold prediction, they will not. They will finish second in the NL Central, and we'll be talking about how they didn't go get a bat and how they needed a pitcher down the stretch. That's my bold prediction.
We did not share notes, but he kind of just said almost exactly what I was going to say. Well, I'm going to double down. I think Paul Goldschmidt finishes in the top 3 of the MVP. I would not be surprised if he wins the whole thing. But, yeah, I think the Brewers win the Central. Their pitching is better than the Cardinals' pitching. That's just, when you look at it, that's just the facts. The Cardinals don't go get another arm. I'm very worried about their chances. I do think they'll get one. The playoffs are expanding. I think they're going to get a wild card spot. So I think they'll get in the playoffs.
I didn't say they would miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
I think they'll get in the playoffs, but the Brewers' pitching scares me in the Central. So I do think they come in second in the Central.
So that World Series drought may continue, unfortunately.
Can we call it a drought? I guess it's technically a drought.
Yeah, in St. Louis it's a drought.
What's a drought? 10 years?
10 years.
Well, we're
there.
We're
spoiled here. It's a drought.
Hey, like I said before, Yachty, Waino, Albert, possibly last year, you got to go all in.
Look, Coach K didn't finish it off in basketball, so maybe they can in baseball.
That will do it for this first episode of Cardinals Plus. For Ahmad Hicks, I'm Corey Miller. Have fun all season long following along with us as we follow your favorite team.